Hi everyone, and welcome back to Healing Gems. Thanks for joining me today. So today we're going to talk about 10 things that you should do when you are in a chronic fatigue crash. So I've made a list here, so I will be kind of like looking down just to make sure I remember all of them and give you all the details. So straight in, number one, and this is the most essential, I believe. It is rest, rest, rest and more rest. This is the one thing that people don't talk about enough, I don't think, with chronic fatigue. A lot of the chronic fatigue clinics that I went to sort of like in the past, they talked a lot about brain training. They talked about a lot about diet and things like this. But the one thing I think is the most essential thing, especially when you're in a crash, is to listen to your body and rest as much as you can, because your body's giving you all of these symptoms, which means it's telling you you need to stop. You've either been overdoing it, you've had too much stimulation going on. So the symptoms are, they're there for a reason. They're trying to get you to rest and be still. So, and you can rest in multiple ways. So obviously sleep if you need the sleep, but sometimes if you sleep during the day, then you won't sleep at night. So therefore you've got to find ways of resting your body, getting your body into this deep resting state without falling asleep. So my preferred methods of doing this is yoga nidra. So this is, it's not yoga as in physical yoga. It's like a restorative kind of meditation, which I believe is like, it's so healing for the body. It allows your body to drop into this like deep state of relaxation, and really start to restore your body. So yoga nidra is like, massive. I use it all the time. Obviously meditation is another great one. Breathing exercises, but they have to be very, very, very gentle. Don't be thinking about doing anything like Wim Hof or like, all the other kind of pranayama, kind of intense breathing exercises, because they're going to overstimulate your body, and they're going to be no good for you at this particular point. So nice and calm breathing exercises. So they're the kind of things that you want to be doing to really let your body heal, to drop into that deep state of rest and restoration. So number two, use less of your senses. So, this is like, you looking at something, listening to something, talking, everything you do uses energy. So you want to minimize sort of things that are going to take energy out of your body. So in a crash, obviously, you probably are going to be doing a lot of lying on the sofa, maybe binge watching some things on Netflix. But if you're doing that, then make sure whatever you're watching is not overstimulating, so things like war films, horror films, anything that is like anxiety provoking. So find more gentler kind of programs to watch. Watch some kittens and puppies, because that's like heartwarming, and that will, instantly put you in a much better state than watching something that is sort of like stimulating. And also, I find in a crash, like, I could be putting something on the television, but I'm going to close my eyes and watch it. So I'm just listening to what's going on, because that takes out the visual energy that I'm using. So on that note, audiobooks are great. You can just plug in and listen. You can lie down while you're listening to them, or there's loads of things on YouTube like sleep stories, or other stories that you can listen to for free if you don't have Audible, an Audible account. So that's probably one of the better ways, is just listening to something rather than having sort of like your visual energy being used as well. And also when you're watching something, you've got all like the blue light that is coming from the TV. So you might want to, if you are going to watch television a lot, invest in just some blue light glasses. I mean, these are a pair that I picked up on Amazon for, I think, £10, but you can get them cheaper as well, I think. And again, these just block out the blue light that comes from screens, and it can help to reduce things like headaches, and again, just make it a little less overstimulating for you. Okay, so that was number two. So number 3 is reduce contact with people. Now, when I say reduce contact, obviously you probably might live with people, you've got people that you have to see on a daily basis, but you just need to let them know that you are going through a crash and you're not going to be in the most best state to be able to be maybe entertaining or to engage in like conversations for a long period of time. So I think it's just best to be honest with people and just say, look, I'm going through a crash. I might be able to only talk for 5 minutes at a time. You might have to reduce the amount of texting that you're doing because this can be overstimulating, and it uses quite a lot of brain power, to sort of like read the messages, text back, think of what you're going to say, and kind of things like that. So in a crash, it's better to say to people, I'm probably going to be out of action for 24 hours or however long you think that it's going to take, or my responses are going to be minimal. So again, just reduce your contact with people as much as you can. Just again, so you can just go inwards and you can just use all of the energy that you need for healing rather than talking and trying to, engage in life in sort of like a normal way at this moment in time. So number 4 is sunlight. I know obviously I live in the UK and it's not always sunny, and the weather's not always particularly great, but on the days where it is nice, if you can go outside and just feel the sun on your face, it gives you vitamin D, it just boosts your endorphins, it makes you feel better. If you can get out and feel some sun on your face, that is, a great thing to do. Or if you're sort of housebound and you can't get out, sit by it. If you can sit by a window where the sun's shining in, let that come, feel that on your face. It will give you a boost. It will help. It will make you feel a whole lot better. So I think, sunlight is underestimated in terms of like its healing properties. It really does have a lot of ways that it just makes the body feel a whole lot better in itself and just lifts your mood. So if you can do that, it's a winter's day today, but the sun is shining, and I just make sure I went out even in the garden for like 5-10 minutes just to feel that sun on my face, and it just perks you up. It really does, whether you have chronic fatigue or not. So that was number 4. So number 5 is let your emotions out. So having a crash and just generally having chronic fatigue, it is an emotional roller coaster. There are so many emotions that you will feel, sadness, anger, frustration, hopelessness, helplessness, fear, scared. There's so many what we would class as, say, like negative emotions that you're going to feel having chronic fatigue. Fear of the symptoms, the fear of missing out on your life, not knowing when it's going to get better, trying all of these things and it never feeling like anything's changing, and that hopelessness and helplessness that no one else can help you. These are intense emotions and they have to come out. So whether that's having a good cry, whether that's like, sort of screaming into a pillow, talking to someone and just expressing how you're feeling. You can say to them, I don't expect you to be able to fix the problem. I don't expect you to be able to like help me in any way, but please can you just like listen to how I'm feeling. So whether that's just like a friend or a family member, or it is a counsellor, or someone else, going through this similar journey, then let those emotions out. And one way I have found about doing that is EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping. It really helps you get in tune with the feelings, especially if you're not sure how you're feeling. It really does help, help your brain sort of digest what's going through, but it also like calms your body down on like a more sort of like physical level. So I totally recommend that, and I will link in the sort of like notes below a link to a EFT I have done on fear. But there are lots of them on YouTube that you can find on absolutely any emotion. So you've got to let those emotions out, absolutely. Number 6, stop all essential tasks. and even non-essential tasks. Don't be doing things that you don't have to do unless they are, absolutely crucial that you need to be doing these things. Do the bare minimum, what you can get away with. You leave the housework. A bit of dust never killed anybody. Don't be thinking you've got to eat healthily, and put so much effort into your nutrition. Give yourself a little bit of a break when you're having a chronic fatigue crash. Do what you have to do to eat, and sustain yourself, but don't think you've got to do all these things perfectly. And on the eating front, I do find that eating things like eating small and often, so your body's not having to digest in large meals and putting energy into that. Eating soups, eating smoothies, that kind of thing. It's easier for your body just to digest at that point, and you still are getting some nutrition into the body. But don't be putting loads of pressure on yourself to be doing all of like these tasks that you think that you should be doing, like to run a household. Just leave them for the time being. Get someone else to do them for the time being, if you can, because that's going to help you get out of this crash state a whole lot quicker. Okay, 7, watch recovery stories. Sometimes when you're in a crash, it can feel like everything is hopeless. Nothing's going to help you. You're never going to get out of this. It's the worst thing ever, and it is. But you need hope. You need some hope. So go onto YouTube, find recovery stories of people that have either got themselves a lot better, or have healed themselves completely, because it is possible. It is so possible. Other people have done it. You are no different to anybody else. I know that I've got myself like from feeling like I was on death's door to feeling like, so much better, and my life is more fulfilled, and I'm doing exercise, and I'm, meeting friends for drinks and doing normal stuff like working full time and all of those kind of things, so watch people who have got themselves out of like chronic fatigue and into life again, and whatever stage that may be. They may not be fully recovered, but they are living a life which is so much better than what it was, and especially they've got themselves at the crash into a different state of being. So I highly recommend watching recovery stories. Okay, so when you start to regain energy, and this is a big one as well, don't go crazy because you're feeling better and you think, oh, now I can do the housework, now I can make myself all this nice food, I can go out and see friends, I can do this, I can do that. No, because I can't tell you the amount of times I've done that, where I start to feel better, almost normal, and think, right, I'm healed, I'm great, I'm going to go back and live my life. And you do that for like maybe 1 or 2 days, and straight away you're back into crash mode, or you're back into a flare up of symptoms. What you've got to do, and I know this is so hard, this is like one of the hardest things, and this is probably where so many people go wrong, is where you do have that energy and you think, I'm just going to go and do loads of things. Whereas you can't. You've got to build up so gradually and so slowly. And even if you feel good, to not increase your energy like this, you've got to like start to do activity on a very gradual basis until you start to realize that, oh, actually I can do a lot more. But you've got to have the patience of a saint, to be able to do it, and you've got to just feel, pull yourself back, even if you're feeling good, to say, right, okay, I can only increase this amount today, and then tomorrow increase maybe a little bit more, so you're not going to boom and bust all the time. And I would say this is the number one, the hardest thing to get right, but it's the thing that's going to put you on a sustainable recovery journey. Okay, number 9, we're nearly there, a gratitude practice. So this might sound a bit airy-fairy and you think, oh gosh, that's not going to do anything. But science has actually proved that when you feel grateful for things, when you actually feel it in your body, for like gratitude, that it changes your brain structure, it changes the hormones that are being pumped out into your body, and therefore puts your body in a more healing state, and allows your body to start to recover and to restore itself. So I know when you've got chronic fatigue, it's pretty hard to find things to be grateful for. especially when you're seeing other people going off and doing this, that, and the other. It's hard to maybe conjure up feelings of gratefulness, but there are always things to find. So this might be like the sun shining through the window. It might be that you're grateful for the people around you. It might be grateful for your pet. It might be grateful for the fact that, actually you can sit up and watch TV for half an hour, or you've managed to have a shower today, or that you have got lovely food to eat. There is always something, even if it's minuscule, that you can be grateful for. And I think when you've gone through chronic fatigue, even walking to the shop and back, is something to be grateful for. Having a conversation with somebody, and having friendships, and having relationships, they're all things that you can feel grateful for. And when you feel when you do your gratitude practice, it's not a case of just saying, "Oh, I'm grateful. I feel grateful for the sun shining through the window." You've got to feel it in your body. You've got to really kind of conjure up those feelings of gratefulness and thankfulness, and feel it in your heart. You feel it in your heart, and then your whole body starts to feel it. So give it a go. Okay, so we're on to the last one now, number 10. And this again is quite a biggie. Acceptance and patience. So this is acceptance of where you are right now, and patience that you can't rush coming out of a crash. You can't rush healing from chronic fatigue. So it's like this acceptance of like, right, okay, I'm here. I'm right here, right now. I can do X, or I can do Y. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And being all right with yourself, and not putting pressure on yourself to heal faster than you're going to heal, because that's going to put your body in a stress state and make recovery even slower. So it is coming, and this takes a while to come into this state and to be able to accept that, okay, last week maybe I was able to do, I was able to walk for half an hour, and now I'm in this crash mode. I can't. And it's accepting that, and just being okay and loving yourself enough to just give yourself a break. Most people with chronic fatigue are of a personality type that they've pushed and they've tried, and they've not been very nice to themselves for a long period of time, where they've, nothing is good enough. They've always got to be aiming for something higher and putting this pressure on themselves. So if you resonate with that, that is something fundamentally in your psyche, in your personality, that's probably contributed to getting to you into this state in the first place. So therefore, we've got to try and unwind these habits, and just be kind. Just be kind to ourselves. Be nice to ourselves, and be loving to ourselves. And that goes such a long way to healing yourself and your body. And again, that might sound a bit woo-woo, but it's not. It honestly isn't. If you speak to anyone that's healed from chronic fatigue, they have taken their foot off the pedal. They have been nice to themselves. They have been kind to themselves. They've accepted, okay, this is what I can do right now, but things will change. And that's where the patience comes in. That's where you learn to love yourself for who you are right now, and be grateful for the journey that you're on and the things that you're going to learn from having chronic fatigue and these crashes, even though it feels like the worst thing in the world right now. So they're my top 10 tips. So just to run through them again: rest, rest, rest and restore. Number 2, use less of your senses. Number 3, reduce contact with people. Number 4, get as much sunlight as you can. Number 5, let out your emotions. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're feeling angry, let it out. 6, stop all essential or non-essential tasks. Number 7, motivate yourself. Know that recovery is possible by watching recovery stories. Number 8, when you start to regain energy, pace yourself, little by little, as you start to heal and get better. Number 9, a gratitude practice for everything that you have in your life right now. And number 10, acceptance and patience. Okay, so thank you for watching this. I hope it's helped. please leave comments below. Tell me the things that you do in a crash to help yourself and heal yourself, because we're all different and someone might learn something else from the comments that you make. Please subscribe to my channel, as this helps other people, you know, get to see this content and heal. And, you know, thank you again. Take care of yourself. Namaste.